Tori, thank you so much for taking some time today to hang out with us.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
of course.
I've been a fan of yours for a while now.
Thank
and
you.
I've been following you for quite some time through your musical career, and also just getting to know you as a Christ follower, which is so cool, and just how you live out your faith. We know you so much for your music and your musical career.
Yeah.
When did your love for music start?
My love for music started very, very early on. I couldn't really tell you the exact age because my parents say I was kind of singing as I learned to talk, I guess, just singing melodies and stuff. Around 3 years old, even, just singing around the house. And my dad's a singer as well, and my mom grew up playing piano, so my love for music is it felt embedded, like it was just already there. Yeah.
What is something to you that stands out as like a really memorable moment for you just throughout your career?
There's a few. In 2015, when I put out my very first album, I always go back to that moment because I think as a kid, my dream wasn't necessarily to be like a big star or like be famous. It was literally just to put out music and perform on stage. And I didn't really know anything other than that. So all the hype, it was cool, but once I actually got to release music and put out that full album, that was a huge moment for me. I felt like a little kid again. And that I think is a big one for me. But I also think of stuff like getting to do this animated movie, Sing. I would have never thought that would happen. And it was just the perfect role. Everything about it was perfect. And it was a dream come true, so.
Well, you're incredibly talented.
Thanks.
And we love what you do. But what I love even more about that is your heart behind everything that you do. We know that you love Jesus.
I do.
You've grown up in the church, you said.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. How does your faith shape who you are and what you do?
My faith is everything to me. I did grow up in the church, but I think maybe like some other people who grew up in the church, you kind of get to a point where your faith really becomes your own, and it's not about what your parents say or what they believe, but it's really like, oh no, this is real to me. I've experienced the presence of God, and like I know that this is my own faith.
I think for a lot of people, they might look on and see sort of your career and your success and make even assumptions about what that life is like. And obviously there's opportunities that you have to do a number of things, but probably your faith guides your path in a really big way. Talk to me a little bit about maybe the struggle that you feel between opportunities that present your way and how you might combat that based on who you are and what your faith is.
There's definitely, it's definitely hard at sometimes. I think I have been in the industry for so long now that it's been kind of a step-by-step process. It wasn't something that was overnight where it was like, oh no, now I have to figure out how my faith works with this, you know? Music has always been a part of me and my faith has always been a part of me. So for me, it's that daily, okay, let me remind myself again that, you know, Jesus is number one. Let me remind myself again what all of this is for. So I don't think I could sit here and say it's just, you know, that I checked off the faith box and the God box and then I can do whatever I want. It's like there's that conviction. There's, you know, certain opportunities will come up and I just have to say like, no, it just doesn't sit right in my spirit.
You mentioned something there. You said it's kind of a step-by-step process, but you said it's also a daily grind at times. And it's not about checking boxes.
No.
It's a daily thing. What does that look like for you? What does that daily spiritual discipline look like for you?
For me, and this is something I'm learning even recently, is just spending time in my word every single day. And even more than that, actually praying. I think both of those things coupled together. Because I used to be, you know, just, okay, I gotta wake up and I gotta read. And I would just read and then like go about my day, which I think is fine. But once I started, you know, reading and then actually sitting and just like pouring my heart out to God, even though he knows everything, he still wants to hear from us and he cares. I'm the type, like, I'll just harbor things in. I'll just, I'll be going through a lot, but I won't express it. And I'll even think like, oh, God knows. So, like, he'll take care of it. He's sovereign. It's fine. And I'll never forget, and this is very recently, I just sat and I just started weeping and I just gave up just little things that were on my heart and that were just sitting there and just saying it out loud. It was like, whoa, okay. That was actually like the release of it. Like, I'm gonna let go of this rather than just thinking like, oh yeah, I let go of it. He already knows.
Yeah.
I think we have to be intentional about just sitting down with God, and he loves that. Like, he wants to spend time with us, and he's just waiting for that. It's so crazy because when I finally grasped that, it's like that's the best thing ever.
I'm assuming there are several challenges you probably face in your line of work that conflict with your personal convictions. Tell me about those. What are some of the most difficult challenges that you face in your line of work?
I think it varies. I think there's things that come up that surprise me too, but the thing that pops up in my mind first is, I don't think it even has to do with just my line of work, actually. I think it's something that we all probably struggle with, which is just loving the person in front of us. It's like easy to focus on myself and just, gotta get this song right, gotta be on stage, gotta do all these things. Because it's really, in my line of work too, it's kind of built up to be about me.
Yeah.
Which is scary. It's terrifying. And so that's, I think, to answer your question, the biggest challenge is, how do I not make it about me? How do I see the person in the crowd who's hurting, or see the person over here who's hurting, or the artist who's hurting? How can I reach out to them? And that's a hard thing sometimes.
I love the heart behind that, and I love that. I know it's a struggle, but the fact that you're conscious of that and looking for those opportunities to love on people, it's a big deal. And just on the back side of that question, really, what are some things that you hope make you different, that people can then see Christ in you?
I hope it's that. I hope I can get good at loving people to where people say, oh wow, like, she's going through all this mess, but she's still focused on others. Or, she's got all these things against her, but she's still like loving people, and she's still smiling. I hope people can say that about me. But yeah, it's hard to say though. I want to be more like Jesus at the end of the day. So that's like a daily prayer. Make me more like you, please.
Now, I want to bring up something we were talking about earlier. We talked about a verse in Philippians. I thought it was so good, and I wanted to actually talk about it on camera. And I'm going to read the verse real quick, and then we can have a chance to talk about it. It's in Philippians 3:7, and it says, "But whatever were gains to me, I now consider loss for the sake of Christ. And what is more, I consider everything a loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord, for whose sake I have lost all things. I consider them garbage, that I may gain Christ and be found in him." Everything is a loss without Christ.
Yeah.
And I love what you said earlier. Why does that verse mean something to you in a really personal way?
That verse has been speaking to me a lot lately, or that chunk of verses really, because he goes on and on. But it's been speaking to me lately because I think I connect with Paul in that way, where he was actually really successful in his, in his work. He did a ton of stuff, and he was like the man. Like, he wasn't just some nobody. And I think the fact that I've been so blessed to be able to actually live my dreams, and not a lot of people get to do what I do and use their voice like that. So I'm so grateful that I get to do that. But I think reading that verse, it really humbles me and makes me say, like, whoa, none of that. It reminds me, like, none of the stuff I've accomplished even matters if I don't have Christ. Like, he's the treasure. He is the most important thing, most important person that I could have in my life. And the best thing about that too is no one can take that away.
Yeah.
All the accomplishments, all the, anything that I get to do, my voice can go at any minute. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And so I think reading that, it's like, wow, okay, that's something I can hold on to. That could be my hope forever and ever. And I can't rely on these accomplishments and these goals and these dreams, which are great and they're good things. But even good things can be idols. And so I think that's something that has really, really resonated with me. And I want to be like Paul. Like, I want to wake up every day, even though I don't. Like, if I'm being honest, I don't wake up every day saying that. But that would be great, because I know deep in my heart that's what I believe, that he really is the greatest thing.
Well, kind of what you alluded to earlier, you know, we're called to be set apart, to be different. And there's a lot of things that conflict with your personal convictions as opportunity, but you choose to be different.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can feel lonely.
Yeah.
How do you surround yourself with people that really help you to be different?
I think one of the biggest things is getting plugged into a church. And that's been a huge blessing for me, just to feel like that's home. These are my people, you know, I can serve there. I love being a part of a church. And I think outside of that, I've been really blessed to actually find other artists who also love Jesus. And we actually have this cool little text thread going on, this group text, where we can just be encouraging each other all the time, because we know what it's like. You know, we know what we're going through, and we can relate on that level. So it's been really, really awesome, because Christ, I think, unites us all, even though we maybe wouldn't be friends necessarily if it wasn't for him. So yeah, the church and just finding other people in the industry has been really cool.
So surrounding yourself with people that think like you think is so important. So talk to me about this. So a high school student has a bunch of different types of people.
Yeah.
If you were to encourage them on the significance of finding and surrounding themselves with the right people, what would you say?
I would say look for people who are building other people up and they're not tearing people down. I think that's one of the biggest things that sticks out to me is, are you speaking life into people, or are you, tearing people down and being negative? Because that's not, you don't want that around you. And, you can pray for them, but we don't want that around us. So, and I want to be one of those people too, where I can be building people up, no matter who they are. I just want to be an encouraging person, hopefully. So that's what I would say.
Well, Tori, thanks so much for all your time, but more importantly, thank you for who you are as a person. I know as I look on and just seeing you and your career and your life, I love your music, but what I love more than anything is your heart and how you live out your faith. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.